Hello, lovely people. Welcome to our weekly reading for the week of the 18th of March. I hope you are all well. I hope you've all had a great week. And I hope you are looking forward to hearing what the cards have to tell us for this week. I know that I am. So let's have a look and see. Okay. So we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Three of Wands, and we have the World. Okay, so we've got two minor arcana cards going on here, two very action cards going on here, and then we have a major arcana card, which is very much kind of what's deep in our psyche. So if we look at the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Wands represents movement and progress, and it's very much about momentum. So when this card appears, events begin to move faster. So it's kind of, there's stuff obviously going on in your life right now, and what's been kind of stuck is going to become unstuck. So the Eight of Wands is rules, information and communication. So, answers to questions, that you've been waiting for will become available. And maybe, as I said, issues that have been stuck will become unstuck. Now, this can be sort of with your personal goals, or it can be, a state of mind. So it's, but definitely you're in a time, or are coming just from a time of things beginning to move. So, the kind of question that kind of comes up for me here is it time to confront something that's going on in your life right now? Does something feel stuck? Is there something that you just need to get moving again? Maybe you're procrastinating, that is a favorite game of most of us. So if you are procrastinating about something, this card is telling you to stop and to just get the job done. Now, one of the things that's quite interesting about this card is that it's actually the only card in the tarot where there's a lack of people. And this symbolizes that progressing events should not be taken personally. And it's also advising you to move forward on what makes rational sense, rather than letting your emotions stall you, and particularly rather than letting anxiety stall you. There's plenty of things that we don't get on with because of anxiety. And what this card is saying, don't take it personally. It's a rational, you've got to be rational to move things on. Now, what's really interesting also about this card is that although there's lots of wands there, there's 8 of them there, and you can see that they're moving swiftly, but they're not disorganized. So there's a real clear sense of direction here. And the river at the bottom, that sort of suggests that you need to move more with life's currents, sort of like go with the flow instead of fighting against the flow, instead of fighting against life's currents. And then we have the little house on the hill. So, well, it looks actually like kind of a big house on the hill, but this suggests looking at things from a higher perspective, rather than, so it's kind of like stepping out of it, stepping above your situation to just look at it and see it from that higher perspective. This card is very much about taking a rational view when confronting the issue that's going on. It's very much about the logical choice. And so ask yourself if you're letting anxiety impede your progress. Do you need to speak up and confront something so you can overcome it? What is it basically that you need to face, and what is it that you need to be brave about? So when this card appears in a reading, I would say don't be surprised if issues that were stuck like in parts of your life, if they begin to pick up speed. And so it's very much about summing up your motivation and getting whatever it is that needs to be done, getting it done. No excuses, no whining, no letting anxiety run the show. It's reminding you that when you use avoidance tactics, this is really depleting your personal power. So now that the card has appeared, it's telling you today that strength comes from confronting and from acting. So start today. Do what you need to do and start as you mean to carry on. So it's a good card, I think, to start the week off with. And what I think is quite fascinating is that it's followed now by the Three of Wands, because the Three of Wands, although it doesn't particularly look like it, is also an action card. Wands are very active people. They like to roam, they like to travel, they like adventure. And the Three of Wands, it describes progress with your personal plans. And the Wand's action is always, the Wand's approach is always through action. So there may be travel involved, be sort of like physical kind of conquests, if you like. So this card indicates a time when your plans are progressing, and they're progressing steadily. And it's very much a card of travel. And because, as I said, you know, the ones, they love to roam, and they love adventure, and they love freedom, and they love excitement. But there's also, you know, you can kind of see the action in this card here. And then this card, it's not portraying as much action as such, because you have, there's a certain amount of stillness in this card. So when we look at this card, we're looking at the person, now we have somebody in the card, and we're looking at that person from behind. And this suggests that you have to move forward from, you know, your initial planning phase to put your plans actually into action, because this is an action card. And its travel significance is indicated by the way that the person stands. So they're kind of, if you look down here, the various boats, they are, they're sort of deciding which boat to take. And so every kind of major voyage, if you like, it can be broken down into smaller journeys. And so this person has kind of completed a trek by foot and is now standing here on a cliff and contemplating a passage over water. And the red cloak highlights his passion while he plans his next steps. So the Three of Wands, it does represent progression beyond physical challenges towards emotional opportunities for growth and development. And this is kind of where you get that stillness of this card. So this card is telling you to stop procrastinating, face up to whatever it is you need to face up to, and to use logic and to use rationale with this card. And when you've moved beyond that, now you can come back into the emotional realm, if you like, but you're in a much better place to do so, because there's no anxiety attached to this card. I mean, this card is very still, very calm. It's almost kind of like a knowing, in a sense that, you know, whatever you do next will be the right thing because it's coming from inside. It's like an inner kind of knowing. So it's a card that represents a time for growth and movement and development. And when you do that, there will be very few obstacles in your way. If you look like how these sunny kind of skies, I mean, they're not blue, but there's no clouds in them. It's very calm, and it suggests hope and confidence. So this person is waiting as the boats approach, and during this time, this is a time to consider the next phase. So there's a lot of kind of consideration happening here, going inwards to figure this out, which is kind of interesting because the wands usually don't think a lot before they move, but this one is about that going inside place as well. And the interesting thing is that when the world appears with the Three of Wands and the Eight of Wands, then when they all appear together in a layout, it's usually a very good confirmation for travel. And it may very well be a career involving travel, but definitely something, or it could be a relationship with somebody where you have to travel. But certainly these three cards together definitely indicates travel. And the Three of Wands, it kind of heralds that opportunity to take the courage to journey towards your bliss. And the only kind of caveat of that is that you must stop to identify what bliss means for you. So he has stopped here. Here's the momentum. Here's where, this where he stopped to contemplate. What is it that he wants? What is it that you want? What is it that which boat are you going to take? What do the three different boats represent to you? And so it's so important that you are able to identify actually what bliss means for you. And this has to occur before you can move on to new horizons. So if you can name your bliss, you are definitely on your way to claiming it. And the Three of Wands also asks you to stop and to review about where you want to go. Which boat do you want to take? And is there something that you want to, that you want to have? Is there something that you want to achieve? You can have your goal, but you need to be absolutely clear what that goal is. And you're really well on your way to achieving that goal when you know what it is, because you know what plans to make, you know what direction to take. So there's this is really quite fascinating. Now this brings us to the world. And the world represents the successful completion of a life cycle. So this card is very much about long-term success, but long-term success as a result of inner balance, which is kind of where you are here. So you're here, you're identifying your bliss, you're identifying what it is that will bring you inner balance, that will bring you harmony. And this card is saying, well, if you follow all of this, bearing in mind we all have free will. So if you follow this, then this will be the result. And so that your long-term success will be the result of inner balance and harmony. And this card, it's an encouragement. It's encouraging you to finish what you started. So the old is being completed and loose ends are now being tied up. So when the world appears, you're ready to cross, or you are already crossing a very important threshold. So the world can also represent travel. So we have three very distinctive travel cards here, and they are all in the same reading. And the world also represents accomplishment, but accomplishment due to an optimistic outlook. So results are achieved kind of like with minimum effort, due to your awareness of, if you like, appropriate timing. And by waiting for the best circumstances and the right moment, it's possible to proceed unimpeded towards your goals and your plans. And it keeps, bringing us back to these various cards here, because this is where you figure that all out. This card in the Three of Wands, even though it's an action card, it's very much action up in your mind as well. Now, the World card is very, very much about inner harmony. And this card is saying this is what you need to work on. And this card, the World, is telling you, because you have worked on that it's about maintaining this sort of inner harmony, this equilibrium. And this equilibrium requires effort and it requires concentration. So it's not unusual for people to say things like, oh, but it's okay for you because you're always really optimistic, or, you're so lucky, or you this, you that. And it's really, that's kind of a lazy attitude, because most people that are optimistic are so and positive are so because they have put in the, because they have put in the effort and the concentration. And it does take effort to be positive, but I don't mean positive in a la kind of way. But it does take effort to seek the gem in particularly in shitty situations. But there is always a gem in there somewhere, and it takes effort and it takes concentration to find that. But that effort and concentration, they really are very worthwhile, because achievement by itself, it can be quite disappointing. Maybe it doesn't live up to what you expected. Whereas when you maintain inner balance, this provides a sense of purpose and success that goes way beyond a desired goal. So this inner balance, this bliss, if you like, it's so important. It's up there. It's the top of the tree. Now, we often think to ourselves, oh, I'll be happy when I win the lottery. I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll be happy when I'm in my nice big house, or I'll be happy when I find a partner, all of these sort of things. Now, so what this card is doing, it is reminding us that success is actually the process of enjoying your journey. And it's saying that, enjoying your journey without actually postponing happiness until specific goals are reached. So it's saying you don't need to win the lottery to be happy. You don't need to find your partner to be happy. You can be happy. And when you're happy in yourself, when you have this inner balance and inner equilibrium, this is when you attract things to you. You're not having to chase them, but you're actually attracting them to you. Like attracts like, if you like. So the World card, it reminds you that you can create miraculous changes in your life. But only really when you remember your spirit. So you have to be able to honor your whole journey. And honouring your whole journey means honouring your losses and your success and your disappointments, the whole package, for you to be able to accept wholeness, to accept yourself as a whole spiritual being. So completion, it can be frightening. So this card, it brings completion. It can be frightening because it requires you to commit yourself to unknowable new experiences. And that can be really scary. So the World card is telling you to be proud of your achievements and to be proud of your total journey. Because when you accept yourself as this whole spiritual being, you are now in a place where you know yourself. And when you know yourself, this really does bring a sense of achievement, and it brings a sense of bliss, really. So there's a lovely little journey that's going on with these 3 cards, and I'm going to leave you with that journey at that point. So if this reading resonates with you, do leave me a comment below. You can also subscribe to this channel to be notified for the next reading. Now, if you would like to know more, you can book a private reading with me. I love to hear from you. And you'll find my email address in the description of the video. So lovely people, I'm going to love you and leave you and talk to you again next week.